What would it be like to challenge an opponent who has remained unchanged for thousands of years? What would it be like to have a rival that will allow you to practice, grow, and develop, but it would keep itself the same, allowing you to adapt while it stays constant? What kind of sport allows you to fight a challenger that doesn't care about your failure or success? There are no personal feelings coming from the other team at all. Where can you experience this unchanging and unfeeling competition? Today's episode of Locals Only is about Vertical Rock, located in Manassas, Virginia. Here, you'll find a gym like no other that specifically trains for the sport of rock climbing, but has charmed its way into the hearts of those who dare to enjoy it. Now, Vertical Rock caters to those who wish to ascend to new heights in both body and mind. A business that allows you to rise above, both physically and mentally, but only if you choose to. In 2012, Vertical Rock opened its doors after owner Ian Colton explained, "Rock climbing and outdoor life has always been his family's passion. Climbing creates a strong bond and builds trust that he wanted everyone to have the opportunity to experience. Building a climbing gym was his vision and lifetime passion." After getting the required permits and several building engineers to manufacture these mountains, Vertical Rock's doors swung wide open, allowing anyone brave enough to scale their artificial landscape. But how can you enjoy a sport when you're fighting no one? Where your opponent is an inanimate object? That's actually its greatest strength. You see, in most sports, your opponents are human, driven by the same desires as you to win. They may be more skilled, they might be stronger or faster, or just plain smarter than you, or vice versa. But what if it's a team game and you don't know 4 other people to play with, or against? Fair fights are not as common in the real world, but when your opponent is a rock, you literally have all the time you need to get good. And while you may be alone on the wall, you're not the only one fighting these rocks. Everyone around you will cheer you on and congratulate your victories. If you asked me personally how I felt about rock climbing, and how does it actually feel when you're on the wall, it's not like going up a ladder. It's not as mindless. Every move is calculated and focused, but eventually, after practice, it will come as naturally as walking. But remember, no one is born knowing how to walk. There's a lot of thinking involved in this sport. It's like solving a Rubik's Cube, but you have to be very strong to complete. In rock climbing, there's a discipline called bouldering, where you don't need a rope, you don't need a partner. Usually you just need a pair of shoes and some chalk. With bouldering, because there are fewer moves than on an average rock wall, every foot you move feels like a mile sometimes. And the challenge grows every second you're on the wall. And every movement costs energy. Every second on that rock needs to be efficient and intentional. Your path must be thoughtful, and you must always be prepared. Because if not, you fall. Meanwhile, if you go on a rock wall, it's a much longer path. Most people say it's like a long-distance race, whereas bouldering is like sprinting. If bouldering is a test of strength, climbing a wall with a rope is a test of endurance. And because of the increased height, you need a partner to ensure that the rope has enough slack and is taut when it needs to be to make sure you're safe yet challenged. You will have to find a friend at some point. A belayer is someone who holds the slack from the rope and ensures when you fall, they're there to catch you. So in a way, it is sort of a team sport, but your teammate is mainly there for safety and support. While in a gym, it is completely safe. Climbing outside, people can die if they're not careful. In most sports, failure leads to disappointment, whereas in rock climbing, failure can lead to injury. In other sports, strategy has to do more with outsmarting your enemy, but it's almost never a situation of life and death. And it very well could be if you're not careful. In the case of rock climbing, you're as safe as you decide to be, and luckily, modern safety equipment makes rock climbing as safe as it is fun, and friendly as it is challenging. Ian puts it this way: there are people that have met here and ended up getting married. Others, they actually leave because they come in there overweight, maybe depressed, and rock climbing opens up what they can do. They think differently. They change their lifestyle and maybe move to Colorado. I myself have met someone very special and made lots of friends. And that's another aspect of rock climbing, the community. And that is really what makes Vertical Rock different from any other gym in the area. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody says hi to everybody. It's not like a grocery store where you go in, grab what you need, and leave. In fact, it's hard to not make friends at Vertical Rock. So if you ever feel the need to try and rise above, to challenge yourself and the world itself, I would give Vertical Rock a try. Who knows? You might fall in love with it. And don't take just my word for it. Vertical Rock is doing successful enough to open a second location in Tysons/Vienna. This one is more of a cafe and bouldering club, but you can bet they're going to have the same community ties as the one in Manassas. If you're interested in rock climbing, please give them a call. They'll tell you what classes they offer, what gear they can rent to you, and how easy it is to get started.